Hey guys, it's Dan. I hope you're all doing well. So I just have a prophetic update video. None of this is, of course, financial advice. This pertains to a dream I had about 6 months ago, and I didn't really have an understanding of it. And then today, scrolling on Twitter, I happened to come across this video, and it sure goes along with the prophetic dream I had. So let me show you the prophetic dream, and then we could get into the video that I saw today, and then we'll just do a quick breakdown. Okay, so let's take a look. Watching a live video that John George put out yesterday, and he spoke about a person who prophesied about a time where the United States would grow dependent on people who held XRP and regular citizens, and basically they would help to finance the country. And so last night I had a dream, and it's up to you guys to test the spirits with all of this. This is not financial advice, but I could not remember everything really clearly. But what I do remember is seeing the presidential seal on this white backdrop and hearing that the cryptos, and I felt in my heart this was related to XRP, that those who invested a certain percentage or certain amount of tokens became billionaires and trillionaires. And from their investments, their tokens were locked. Now, they weren't taken away, but in my spirit, I felt that the tokens were not allowed to be moved in large quantities. And that's what I felt. It would be locked for these individuals who had invested and became billionaires and trillionaires, because I felt that perhaps with the presidential seal and all this, something to do with regulations or some kind of law was passed. And so citizens or the people who were in this bracket were unable to move large quantities of this. They weren't permitted to move it for whatever the reason was. And so this kept on happening in like a cycle and like a loop. It was like I would see the presidential seal, and then I would see, billionaires and trillionaires tokens are locked. That's basically what I got. I need you guys to pray on this. Okay, so now that you saw the dream I had 6 months ago pertaining to large quantities of XRP being locked, not being able to move them, percentages of it could be moved, but I felt in my spirit like the ones that became billionaires and trillionaires weren't able to move it, perhaps because it would mess with the infrastructure or whatever, or so let's just move on to the video I actually saw today so we can actually see where this is beginning to manifest.
It's quite funny. One of the big questions that I was asked when I was talking to people about XRP, they said, what price do you sell XRP to the financial institutions that you're dealing with here? Do you give them a discount, and is there a lockup? Can you answer those questions? Because this kept coming up.
Yeah, sure. So, let's use MoneyGram as the example. When MoneyGram is moving money from US dollar to Mexican peso, they're buying at market. They're not, there's no special sweetheart deal there. There are times when we work with institutional investors who might say, hey, we want to buy $10 million of XRP, and we would have lockups that would prevent them from dumping. We don't want some other party buying a whole lot of XRP and dumping it on the market. And so we would hypothetically have restrictions about what they could sell and what, how often. And usually those are based upon volume in the market.
Yeah, so you might give them it slightly cheaper, but you say to them, hey, you're not allowed to sell it for 6 months, let's say, or a year.
Yeah, correct. That's basically correct.
So there are a few takeaways with all of this, and I'm curious, so comment below. But these things that stand out to me is that there will be, after I believe very significant price appreciation, locking up of XRP. So there is no dumping on the market. And I'm assuming it's to keep this innovative backbone of the financial world moving like a well-oiled machine. That would make a lot of sense to me, but I'm wondering where this would begin. Like, at what numerical value of holdings would this begin? If you had held like maybe 1,000 XRP tokens and it appreciated $10,000, you'd be worth $10 million. And what's interesting is the CEO of Ripple kind of throwing that figure out there as a benchmark and in this interview. So how do you feel about all of this? You know, you wouldn't be able to necessarily cash out everything completely. Would that even matter? Would that even be wise, right? Probably not. Anyhow, I thought it was interesting. So just let me know your thoughts. And we'll talk soon. Love you. God bless.